Okay, so we are back to our presentation today, and we're going to hear about theory of peace, conflict, and security as it relates to Thomas Aquinas, right? Okay, you can start. Thank you very much.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sylvester Chikanwachukwu. In this course, theory of peace and conflict, theory, peace, conflict, and security, we are going to be talking about Thomas Aquinas, his thoughts in relation to the conflict and peace that we are studying as a course. First, before we talk about his thoughts, we need to understand who is Thomas Aquinas. So let's take a brief history of Thomas Aquinas for us to be able to understand his personal life. Thomas Aquinas was born into an aristocratic family in Rocasecca. Now, Rocasecca is close to Naples in Italy, and he was born in 1225. Then, after attending attending the University of Naples for his education, he defied his family's wishes and entered the Dominican order. After that, he studied at Paris, Cologne under Albertus Magnus. Thomas Aquinas was profoundly impacted by Aristotle. He loved the ideas of Aristotle, whose ideas he combined with Christian doctrine. Now, here he combined the idea of Aristotle with the idea of Christian doctrine. He wrote a great deal on politics, ethics, theology, and the law. His most well-known work, Summa Theologica, covers philosophy, ethics, and theology. The purpose of Summa Contra Gentiles is to educate non-Christians about Christian teaching. Now, this Thomas Aquinas is a Catholic. So, generally, most of his thoughts might be having something to do with the church. So I need to emphasize on this so that for us that are here that we start arguing, we'll understand that most of his thoughts are Catholic Christian doctrines. Okay, let's move on. He died while traveling to the Second Council of Leon in 1274. He was designated as a patroness of Catholic education and a doctor of the church, and was regarded as one of the history's finest Christian philosophers. So now we have seen the life of Thomas Aquinas. He's a Christian philosopher. So which have to let us understand that most of his philosophical thoughts will be based on Christendom. First, let's try to understand his thoughts relating to conflict and peace. The first thought is natural law and human reason. Now, natural law and human reason, he tried to let us know that he believed that natural law, moral principles found in nature and accessible through reason, guides human behavior. The moral principles that they found in nature and accessible through reasoning, through thinking, that is what guides human behavior. Okay? Now, this law teaches that peace, justice, and the common good are part of God's design. So you can see, like I said earlier, most of his thoughts will be based on Christendom. Okay? Again, he went further to say that peace, therefore, is the natural and rightful condition of human society. Moving forward, we have to be looking at his second thought, which is peace as a moral and social goal. Aquinas did not define peace simply as the absence of war. He saw it as the result of right order, justice, and the fulfillment of human purpose. So he's not seeing peace as something that is just simple or absence of war. No. He tried to let us know it is the right, it is justified, and it is the fulfillment of the human purpose. That is what God designed us to be. God designed us to have peace and justice. Like I said earlier, his thought will basically based on Christendom. He went further to state that peace is achieved when society respects both divine and natural laws. Now you can see Christendom is in, and the natural society is also in. He's trying to join them together. When both divine and natural laws is achieved. Let's look at the other thought, his other third thought, which is just war theory. He built upon earlier Christian thoughts like Augustine to outline the condition under which law could be morally justified. His just war theory includes one, legitimate authority, which is only a recognized leader or government may declare war. Only a recognized leader or government may declare war. Legitimate authority. Now, for the just cause, war must confront a real and serious wrong. For example, defense from aggression. So this is his theory about war. For war to happen, for war to take place, it must be only the recognized leader or government have the power to declare war. And also, if you are fighting war like for a just cause, it must confront a real and serious wrong, which is defense from aggression. The next one is right intention. The goal must be to promote peace and justice, not revenge on or conquest. So he's trying to let us know that for just war theory, his own understanding, his own philosophical thinking, for the right intention of war to happen, for the right cause, it must be to promote peace and justice, not revenge. So you mustn't go to war because of revenge. No. You must go to war to promote peace and justice for the right intention. Now, know that these ideas laid the foundation for later development in international law, especially in relation to humanitarian intervention and rules of engagement. Now, let's look at his other thoughts, which is the common good. He emphasized that the role of rulers and government is to promote the common good. He believed that every ruler, every government, their role is to promote the common good of every human, which includes justice, order, and peace, not just control and power. He also went further to say that Conflict arises when there is common good, when the common good is being ignored or undermined. When the common good is being ignored or undermined, conflict will surely arise. Now, these are his thoughts. Let's try to understand his thoughts, the relevance of his thoughts to modern understanding. First, let's look at the natural law. He believes that basis for human rights and ethical framework is law and politics. Basis for human rights and ethical framework in law and politics. Just war theory. It is a call to international humanitarian law, UN peacekeeping, Geneva Conventions. Common good. Underpinning social justice, development, and peace building theories. Moral authority. Support concepts like legitimate governance and responsible leadership. In conclusion, Thomas Aquinas, he provides a moral and philosophical foundation for thinking about conflict and peace. How? One, he emphasized on justice, right authority, and the pursuit of the common good, which continues to influence ethics in warfare, human rights discourse, and peace studies. He went further, saying that it helps us to see that true peace is more than a ceasefire. It is just and moral order where all humans can thrive. So we can see that he believes in justice, right authority, and the pursuit of common good. All these things help to influence ethics in the welfare, human rights, and peace studies. Thank you. Any question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much for the lecture. My question is on what is the major difference or differences or departure of Thomas Aquinas' theory from that of Augustine of Hippo, because it seems their theory or their ideas are similar in relation with the just war theory, the justice, the peace pact, and everything. So, what is there any major difference, or are they just on the same level of understanding?
No, there's no difference because he built upon Augustine's thoughts. There's no difference.
If there are no difference, why are we studying it? Why are we doing why are we going through if it's exactly the same, like you said? There wouldn't be need for us to study his theory in relations to today's modern.
He also has other theories. You are talking about only just war. He has about 4 theories. So it happens that Augustine and his theories are almost the same. They have the same ideology.
Who presented an Augustine?
I did.
Oh, okay.
That is why I'm asking the question.
Can you help us identify if you have seen any major difference? Because you may not know much because you didn't present it, but you can synchronize it for us.
Yeah, that is why I'm asking, because what I did is what exactly almost the same thing I'm saying here. Like it's almost like it's the same presentation.
Are you a Catholic?
No, I'm not a Catholic.
Do you think Catholics, two priests can differ in opinion? I mean, where they want to talk in terms of the basic concepts, you think?
In personal opinion, yes, they can differ.
Catholic priests, in terms of dogma.
Okay, in terms of dogma, I don't think so. I don't think so. In terms of Catholic dogma.
Augustine is a. Okay, you know what to say something? Because Augustine is a Roman Catholic, one of the forefathers, if I'm not mistaken, and fathers of the church.
Yes.
And then look at he has said things, and one thing with the Catholic Church, why it's very strong in the whole world, is that in my own view, the foundation is very solid and strong. Even a pope cannot bring down the Catholic Church. If the pope can say something, those ones we see as cardinals or bishops or even lay people can come out and say, no, this is not the teachings of the church. You can harm the Catholic Church, but you cannot destroy it. The way it is built is very, very solid. So that goes back to the two. Augustine has said his own. By the way, Augustine baptized Aristotle's teachings and made it a Christian doctrine. And then other ones are coming from there. If you enter seminary, the training is everywhere in the whole world. If what you are getting in Thailand as a seminarian is exactly what you are getting as a Nigerian. The same thing applies everywhere. So when they want to talk about moral, so there is the main foundation. They might come in with accidental examples here and there, but at the end of the day, they will still land to that main dogma of the church, the canon law or the substance of the church. So that is the way I can view it. So even if you see another Christian philosopher now, it will say the same. Otherwise, you are out. That's why most priests are. Some people say they are imprisoned because you cannot get out of. You cannot get
Do anything outside.
outside the church. Once the doctrine is different from what we are talking about, you're in trouble. You have to explain. Hey, this is not what I mean. This is what I mean. Because you're not free to a large extent. Anathema sit. Otherwise, you'll be excommunicated. And they call it schism. I think I'm getting the word. Yeah. Schism. That is someone that is now propagating his or her own doctrine, different from the doctrine of the church. The doctrine of church can never be shaken. So that is where you can see two of them. So when they talk about just word theory, yes, Augustine, Thomas Aquinas might be having different scenarios and instances to still land at the point, but Hippo might come up. He might also have a different kind of, when you want to enter CM University, there's a gate there. There's a gate on the other side. But the most important is you are inside the CM University. So that is how I view it in my own view. Who?
We didn't have a collective where everyone was sharing. So we cannot really compare this. Are you referring to your list? Is it exactly this? But that's what you're.
Check your.
This is very accurate.
They may not be exactly, but
They are
The conclusions and everything lies on
that's what I'm trying to say. In whichever way, so long as it's a Catholic church, they might come with different terminology or different concepts, but then at the end of the day, this is the secret of Catholic Church. They call it hierarchy. The church is hierarchical.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever it is, the good thing is, did you see? Okay, it's not exactly the same. Then there's need to still study it. He's taking his own perspective, and the good thing is that he also gave us a good introduction to it. That Aquinas built upon. I mean, as much as he's not disputing it, he's only building upon what Augustine has given us. So the good thing of every good study is that people can work with it and also build on it. I think I will have to leave it here. Thank you.
Yeah, that is a very nice question anyway. But just know that is one thing why Catholic is still strong. Remember that is why everybody, pastor can get a Bible and interpret it his own way. Another person will say, Holy Spirit has met him or her and interpret the Bible in his or her own way. It's not like that in the Catholic Church. There is a dogma, there is a canon law. There's something you must follow. If the Holy Spirit is directly you must direct you to that, that foundation. Otherwise, then you are out of the church. Yes.
Okay, my own question is this. My own question goes on legitimate authority. Only a recognized leader or government may declare war. And my question is this. In Biafra Nigerian Civil War, there was a war. The war were declared. Now, Ojukwu were not recognized as a Nigerian leader. Gowon were recognized as a Nigerian leader. Now, are we now when that is what this said, only a recognized, which means the question the question is this. No. The question is this. Is it just the Biafra Civil War? Is it a just war? Because he's not a recognized leader.
Who said it's not a recognized? Biafra recognized him.
No, Nigeria didn't recognize him, and we are in Nigeria now. Because he said here, government. It is only a recognized government or leader. So it that is question I'm asking now because I'm a bit confused.
Nigeria is a government. As at that time, Biafra is also a government.
Okay.
So Ojukwu was a recognized leader in Biafran land. But Gowon was a recognized in Nigerian land. But because they could not agree, one wants to subdue the other. That is why there was a war. So you have to separate it.
But in a nutshell, Ojukwu now, who was not recognized by Nigerian government. He wasn't recognized. So is there any legitimacy there?
What do you mean legitimacy?
Yeah, by him declaring the war.
Is legitimate in Biafran territory. That is why there was a war in the first instance because it's not trying to take you have to secede. So you have to separate the fact. The Biafran people recognize that this is our leader and it's legitimate for them. That's why they were not listening to order from Obasanjo. Yeah. They weren't listening from any other from Obasanjo. Obasanjo was the one that led the one that went to, the troop that went to Biafra. So Ojukwu had his own troop, or whatever, and there are many of them there. So you cannot join these two things here. Legitimacy is coming from the Biafran people that say Ojukwu is their leader. Then legitimacy is coming from Nigeria that said Gowon
is their leader.
Is or was their leader. So the two of them they are legitimate. That's why this one stood up for almost 3 years. Before the other one was the power, the other one needed support from the Western world. Because if not support from Western world, I'm sure their friends would have smashed all of them up. Is that clear, sir?
Clear and concise.
Any other question?
Yes, please, the introduction. First thing, can we? Yeah, just that one. The last paragraph, he was designated as the patroness of Catholic education. So I just have a problem with, is that patroness for real? Is that a mistake? Or is it how, I don't know about Catholic Church a lot. I thought patroness is supposed to be for female and patron for male. So for future reference, let's establish or correct, please. Are you a Catholic? A good one? No, it's just to know if there is another spelling. Let's be sure. We want to be sure. Maybe there's a prompter. Please, Edu needs the mic. Edu, take the mic and tell us. It's not to cover your hood. I thought as if you're not talking. Edu, take.
That's why I said, let's find someone that got a cake. Look at someone that brought a cake as a probably someone that cake was left.
Chinedu, take the mic.
Petron. It's Petron.
I hope there's no other spelling.
Okay, so I should be at
What is
Take
it?
mic. Ask the question.
I don't have any question. I've already said what I want to say in regards to Petronus.
So imagine, yeah, okay. Question. Oh, you are thinking about your business.
About the question.
Any question? Okay, so Thomas Aquinas thoughts, okay, natural law and so natural law and human reason. So he said that Aquinas believed that natural law, moral principle found in nature and accessible through reason guides human behavior. Can you explain this, Mr. President?
Okay, like it is here that the natural law of human, the moral principle that I find is found in nature and accessible through reason. Now, normally, for instance, how will I use it? As us human, we have principles, moral principles, right? So, with our moral principles and normal reasoning about humans guides our behavior.
Give you an example.
So what do you mean by that? You just repeated the sentence. So what can you annotate?
Okay,
analyze?
for example, let me use myself as an example.
Yes.
All right. Now, some of my moral principles is that I don't like lies, right? It irritates me. That is my moral principle.
So you
Okay.
never lied.
Well, not that I never lied.
When did
It depends. It depends. So let's not go there. So that is my
Why
moral
shouldn't we
principle.
go there? You told us that
It's my personal life. It's
Yeah,
my
but you
personal
said
life.
something. You
I
said-
cannot discuss my personal life.
No, but you said something that triggers us.
That you dislike it.
That is, yeah, I dislike it.
You should use the one that you know that this is what I am doing and this is what I'm not doing. You don't contradict yourself.
How?
You say it depends, that you don't like telling lies.
Mhm.
You now ask, so are you a liar? You say, or are you, so you do tell, you say it depends.
So I did not tell you whether it's yes or no. It depends.
It depends, that means it's yes.
I never said
You
yes.
say yes.
In law.
So long as
In law.
you say it
Yeah,
depends,
no,
that
in
means
law,
that
if you say yes,
situation
they know that is it.
requires
If you say no,
say
they know
yes.
that is it.
Something that
If you
is
say
wrong.
it depends, everybody is confused.
You
Now,
don't
it's left
have
for me
to
now
confuse
to
us.
answer you what is it or not. That's why I said it is my life.
Is it allegedly or just?
This is my person, it's my life, so
Okay,
I don't
not
talk
allegedly.
about it.
But the confusion we are having is that we are trying to tell us that you hate lies, right? Then I ask, do you lie? So, because when you hate something, I guess you are trying to avoid the thing. It's coming from your state. Nobody is interested in knowing further. But it's just that you made mention that something that could get someone to reason and think, is it going to be real or not?
I do tell lies, but it depends on the situation.
If you are started to say that you do tell lies, but it depends. It's a different thing by saying that you hate lies. Then if you hate lies, then I ask, do you lie?
It depends.
So that's supposed to have been the starting point now. It's supposed to have been the
I
starting
should choose
statement.
another one. I'm choosing something that is literally that everyone will understand.
Let's go further. Okay, keep
we are trying
explaining.
to understand.
Go further to your explanation.
We are
Give
trying
us
to-
example of principle, because we are talking about moral principle, and you said you hate lies. Then I ask you, do you lie?
Say it depends.
You say it depends, but you say you hate it. But that is by the way. Now continue with the explanation. Let's know if you can give us something.
Okay. I don't.
It's another one.
Why I don't know why. See, if see in teaching, when someone is dishing out something, if you
Allow you to
to
mislead us
finish,
or what?
not mislead, no.
I don't understand.
No. When the person finish, then you cannot ask you because
So
whatever
we
that is.
agree with you even when we are making mistake.
Listen, if someone is explaining something to you, allow him to land. Once he lands,
Or your first premise
then,
can trip somebody, trigger something.
If you say a stand on A, let's
now this is I'm lecturing you.
Not
Hold on,
that
I'm lecturing you. Wait, let's analyze
Okay,
something.
give us an example.
I'm lecturing you.
Let's proceed.
You're supposed to allow me to land in the explanation before you now give me.
But you made a fundamental a statement that
They now
triggers
ask you
the question.
You now start.
So can you
answering
continue,
another thing.
please? Okay, continue. To prove to us what you mean by moral principle found in nature and accessible through reason guides human behavior. Explain. Okay, are you finding it difficult?
Can you go- can you go-
If you are finding it difficult, does anyone has any?
I don't like explaining people. No, I'm giving you no.
Explain. Let me reason.
No, I'm saying I'm giving
You
this
no
based on what he's saying.
explain.
I'm
Help.
trying to help. I'm
Explain.
only giving him idea. Then go further. I'm
No,
not
you
giving
explain. You've already punctured my
Punctured
this thing.
what?
So explain.
Explain. Am I the presenter? How will I?
Then why were you interrupting the person? Is my
No, it's not
word.
an interruption. You
It
are the
was.
one that made a statement that is very, very.
Then they would have allowed me to land, and
We
then you
wouldn't have
can.
allowed. We wanted clarification. That's why I asked you. Do you lie?
Do you have a question?
Hello.
Oh, yeah, you hold your peace. A man have question. You are not allowed to talk till we bring the mic.
Oh my God.
You don't know how to choke
No,
your
it's not yet done with the question.
Should I bring the mic?
It's not yet done with the moral principle.
Okay. Natural law and human reason. Aquinas believe that natural law, moral principle found in nature and accessible through reason guides human behavior. There is three concepts here. Yeah, I think before you start explanation, you have to observe these three concepts so that it will help you to make it a good result on it. Now, the first concept is moral principle found in nature. One concept. Second one, accessible through reason. Second. Third one, guides human behavior. These are three concepts. Now, moral principle found in nature. Like you say that you
Okay,
don't.
hold on. I got it. Okay, now, first of all, let me use in the Bible. They say, "Do not, thou shalt not steal," right? That is a moral principle. Okay, thou shalt not steal.
But we're not talking about that. We're talking about what we mean by moral principle.
That is why I'm coming.
Yeah,
Nature.
he's coming now.
Found in nature and accessible through reason guides human behavior. That is what we are asking. I'm asking you to explain.
Not to steal is a normal principle that is in nature.
It's a universal law. It's a universal law.
We're talking about natural law according to Thomas Aquinas. Is that what he said?
Let me say, I'm still with it.
Okay, let's settle it.
Okay.
Now, according to what he said, written in the Bible, I think this is a universal law. That moral principle is a universal law that everyone knows when you kill someone, naturally is not okay. That is that moral principle found in nature. That when you kill someone, you have already know, without even establishing any law, you know that killing is quite bad. Then accessible through reason, through logic, you have already reasoned, through rational thinking, you have already reasoned that when I do something, it's totally wrong. Now, guides human behavior. That thing which you think, which you reason through logical aspect, will now reshape your mind or reshape your behavior. So, in conclusion, that moral principle found in nature, first, what you reason is what is applicable in your behavior. And that which you know as a universal law, because killing is totally wrong in a universal law. It's very wrong everywhere. So for you now to kill, you have already know that this is, even without establishment of any law, you know that it's totally wrong. Then accessible through reason, that you have to think as a human being. That is, as a rational being you are. So that which you have already think is what is going to reshape your mind and guide you through your behavior. That is all I understand here.
Okay.
Okay, for me, what I get the message I get from Thomas Aquinas is that he is a Christian philosopher. Yeah. So one of the laws of nature is that every man will die. Death is a natural law that everybody, no matter who you are, you're going to die someday. So with that information, having that knowledge, you have to, your life on earth here has to be peaceful. You have to have moral conduct. Morality has to guide your life. Morality here, it means, for me here, is love. You have to show compassion, love. You have to love people, love your neighbor, and that kind of principle, that kind of moral principles has to guide your life. You get. So having that knowledge that one day you're going to leave this world, no matter how rich or poor you are, you're going to leave this world. You should live a life that is principled, with the knowledge that you have that you're going to live. So that is what I understand by that idea.
Okay, any other person, anything to add?
Thank you very much. Just like Mr. Obi Emmanuel started, it's just a question of understanding the key words. There's natural law, there's moral principle, there's nature, there's reason. So generally, on natural law and human reason, Thomas Aquinas here just trying to tell us that peace is still something that's not far-fetched. If I'm trying to link it back to the discourse of the class, then majorly talking about natural law, it links us back to some of those things that we don't need divine revelation to know that you don't have to kill, to know that you have to respect one another, and then to know that human being wants to live and can also die, and then that whatever you do to one another, will go a long way to determine your relationship and the nature of relationship you have with each other, whether good or bad. So this is Thomas Aquinas, and don't forget that he's a religious man. So when they talk about these things, by nature, they want peace for human, for the society, for the world. Hence, they are bringing it that these things are not far-fetched. So nature is there. Then moral and moral principles. Every person have a mind, have a heart that should be able to tell you, okay, if you do this, this is what comes back. Or if this is what you will want others to do for you, carry it on like this. Or would you like this that you're doing to also be meted back to you in the same way? And then that's for the moral. And then thought and reason, reflections, thinking. All these things also guide the things we do. You see, people will say, let me sleep over it, let me think about it. All these things, like they will say, as a man thinketh, so it is. That's also taking it back to the religious point of view. So you see, even as it links back to the Bible, these our religious philosophers have also linked this thing or talked about them many years ago. And then we are studying them today. So even in our religious life, natural law and human reason should also not be thrown away. That's me linking it back. Thank you very much.
Okay, so can you tell us from what others said? Can you say yours, sir?
All right. Using the topic that we are talking about, conflict and peace. Everybody loves peace. Everybody wants peace, and like others have pointed out initially, if you do something wrong, definitely it might come back to you. And if probably, for example, maybe you kill or do something of that such nature, you know that definitely in your subconscious mind, in your reasoning, you know that whatever that thing you are trying to do is wrong, and it has its consequences. So these two things guides the behavior of such person for him to know how he can behave.
First of all, most of you have tried also, but remember, natural law, he said, is the moral principles that are found in nature. Remember the way our mothers care for us. Naturally, our parents always the one that will take care of their kids, and it moves like that. And by reason, that is why we are human beings. We are not animals that can even start eating themselves at a certain stage, certain development, a developmental stage in their brute animalistic life. Are you guys there? So when you talk about natural or something that is there already, naturally has given you the knowledge that your parents, they meet together and they form a family of love and care. And by reason, if you train your children very well, it's possible you now have a responsible home. And from responsible home, you have a responsible society. And from responsible society, you have a responsible country. Because, we are human, we reason. We know what is respect. If I'm able to respect my kids and bring them up very well in a good way, it's possible that they will spread it along. Are you there? So when you talk about natural, there are things already that nature presents us as human. And one of them is love, care, respect, being peaceful. And once you have started it, to a large extent, you have given, even though some people will still do otherwise, of course. But the point nature, they are doing against the natural law. To respect your parents, to respect your senior, not to be talking bad about your parents. Because once you're a good citizen, a good family member, definitely you're going to be a good citizen. Because you'll be able to know naturally, you have respect to your parents. I'm just using it for you to understand it in this little way. Am I getting it or not?
Yeah, you're getting it, sir.
So that's one of the areas you can locate natural law. It's the law of nature that I want to go to toilet, but I cannot do it in this classroom. There is a place designated for that. I want to shower. I cannot be shower here. I cannot shower here. There's a place designated to that with reason. That guides human behavior. Are you guys getting the point? Uh-huh. Okay. So any other question? Or any other clarification? Okay, no sense of any other one. So we thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.